Well, this is the digital board out of the 2440. Now this is the board that was originally in the unit. This is the backup battery that someone's replaced at some point, and we've tried the reset, taking the battery out to see if that will clear the EEPROM by unsoldering this battery here and shorting the capacitor up, which is one of my followers suggested that. Unfortunately made no difference at all. But this is the board that basically handles all the digital information, and there's a possibility of there is a problem on this board here somewhere. Don't think it's the ROM section, maybe it's something to do with the data processing. This is a data processing chip here. Possibly this is the thing that's the problem. And I've replaced that board with the one that came today from Israel. They've sent me today a company called Parts to Go. They've been very good actually. They ship the stuff quickly. They always accept my offers. I always reduce the price down by sort of like 30%, and they always seem to accept the offers. And they ship them quickly. They're really well packed. Very impressed. Now they didn't say if this board works or not, but I'm going to power it up, try it. I still, at the present moment, I know each week I say I think it's something else. I still think it seems to come back to the CCDs. They charge a couple of devices on the analog board, which is underneath the ones with the ones that you see most in my video. It looks like all the information is fine up until the CCDs, and after that it all becomes corrupted and noisy. So I'm going to power it up, see what we get. I expect to see lots of checksum errors and NVR errors, non-volatile RAM errors, because the battery is pretty dead on it. Let's power it up, see what we get. Looking very good. Okay, not as bad as I thought. Got the displays up. Hasn't failed on the. It's passed on everything so far. Now we need to run the self-test on here. Now this looks like that board certainly works. The floating front panel processors working. System RAM's passed. System ROM's passed. That's good. So that board looks like it's okay. So it's obviously not a duff board. That's interesting. Now this is a security thing, I think, that Tektronix use, especially on their military oscilloscopes, so you don't store any sensitive information on sort of responses of I don't know, military equipment, I should think. It's obviously tried to do an erasure on all the systems and has failed. I don't think that's going to cause a problem with us, but it's certainly, I've never seen that before. It's highlighted that, so that looks like that's a problem with the erasing of the non-volatile RAM, or the non-volatile memory. So what we'll do is let's do a calibration. Okay, we've got no front panel. Now I know what that is. That's the dodgy. There's a dodgy flex on this. Let's just do a quick. What should we do? Let's just see if we can acquire. Okay. Now the easiest way to check quickly is go up to higher time base. Yeah, exactly the same. So that sort of reassured me that I am still working on the right board. Okay, it's bloody annoying. I've bought a board that I don't need. It's got any movement on the. Okay. Can't seem to control the position of the waveform. I've got a problem with the flexi that goes up to this front panel, so I need to tip it over. And also I can't run it for long because I'm running it at the moment without any cooling on the processor. So let's just flip the scope over and have a look inside and see if I can fix that flexi so I can get into the diagnostic program. Okay, it's flipped it over. Now I've got the fans back on the processors. and it's going through its self-diagnostic now, just to see, get the same problems we did before, and if it still fails, it can only be these CCDs. I can't see what else it can be. We've replaced most of these chips here. As I say, the information up to this point is good. All the internal clocks seem to be good. Yeah, I've spent absolutely hours on this thing. Look at that. Self-diagnostic passed. Really? Okay. Let's do... I don't believe that. Self-calibration. Of course I could be talking absolute rubbish and it could be this processor board after all this. But it's passed the self-diagnostics. So let's run that through. And maybe it was, all it was that processor chip. I don't want to get too confident because I've spent so much time on this scope. I just think that it's going to be a bit of a sort of anticlimax if I've replaced the board and the whole thing works. That doesn't really mean I've fixed the unit. And I've been looking on the totally the wrong board all this time. But what I'm hoping is it's going to fail. To be honest with you, I hope it's going to fail this test, and it will mean that I was at least looking on the right board. But it's still running through. I don't know if you can see here, but it's the display's flickering because it's obviously running a bit of processing power. But I've never had that pass on self-diagnostics before. I wonder if it was that high. I wonder if it is that hybrid that's failed. Suspense is killing me. If it's right for you, you can fast forward on. But it might be useful. There are a lot of people out there who've got these scopes who have the same or similar problem to this. At least if I can narrow it down to roughly where I think it is, maybe it would give someone a head start. The biggest problem with this scope has been I spent 2 months looking at a fault that was listed on the service manual as a voltage that should be 12.2 volts on the DAC output, when that was a load of rubbish. It shouldn't have to be that anywhere near as high as that. So I spent a lot of time chasing a red herring. It's still running. Self-diagnostics passed. Here we go, hardware problem. Now that's interesting, you see. It's failed the CCD again. Let's have a look. So it's good, as I say, in some ways, because it means it probably isn't that processor board. I've never had that thing fail before. So it's the same thing. The CCD fails on the gain. When you run that and it all fails. So that still suggests that the CCDs have failed. But the self-diagnostic passed, which is really odd because it's never done that before. Very confusing and very sort of... Unless it's a later state, a later ROM or something, and it said... I mean, now it's not saying it's passed. It's saying self-calibration has failed. External calibration, haven't run that. So self-calibration is uncalibrated. Self-diagnostic passed. Extended diagnostics means I have to input stuff, but so that's self-diagnostics again. So basically that's checking the hardware, but what I don't understand is that it came up with saying it had passed but not warmed up. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to change these CCDs, which I have got another set coming, but they're not the same model number, part number. Part numbers on these, as you can see here, is 1655223. And that doesn't ring true to this scope. It's like someone's changed these before and put the wrong parts in them. Yes, I know I've got the bolts missing there. I can see that. That's not a problem. They're making good contact. It's nothing like that. So running this through again on the self-diagnostics just to see what it comes up with. to see that someone's pointed out there's one for spares or repair in the States. Unfortunately, I would have bought it if it was not in the States. The problem is it's so expensive to ship it over. It's 50 quid to ship it over, and the scope's only 50 quid. Okay, so what we've got now? So we passed on preamps have passed, which they don't usually pass, and the trigs. Let's have a look at the trigs. So we go into the detail menu of the trigger. Passed on the gain. Okay, passed on that. It's failed on the gain, sorry, and it's passed on the offset, so let's run. Okay, that's probably because it hasn't been externally calibrated. Go back. So it's still the CCD. So what we're going to do, the CCDs should turn up in the next, possibly this week. It's Wednesday today, might get them by Friday. What we'll do is we'll put the CCDs in it and see if we get any further. It always passes the centering, never has a problem with centering, but it's the gain. So the battle goes on, but it looks like that board has done something, but it hasn't actually fixed the problem. It's just sort of moved the problem about a bit, really. So not giving up yet. Thanks for watching.